Hi guys, this is Faisal. So in this video, we are going to learn about Selenium. What is Selenium? Why we should use Selenium? So all this concept we will learn here. So let's start the video. First of all, I am going to share my screen. So I have opened the notepad and I have made some notes for your easily understanding. So first of all, we will talk about introduction of Selenium. So what is Selenium? Selenium is basically a open source tool which is designed for automation testing, and it is primarily used for web-based application. So let's understand what is the type of application in the market we have. So there are three category we have. The first one is the web application. So what comes under web application? Like Facebook, any website. So this type of application comes under web application. Second, we have desktop app. So what we can say as a desktop application, like for now I am using a notepad. So this you can consider as a desktop application. Like we have a Word, PPT, Excel. So this type of application which we simply download and use in the system, that is called desktop application. And the third one is mobile application, which you all already aware, like which you are going to download from the Play Store, iOS, and you are going to use in day-to-day life. So there are three types of application: web application, desktop application, and mobile application. But Selenium is primarily used for testing web application. So this is the first definition of the Selenium. The second point, it was developed by the developer Jason Huggins in 2004. And the third point is Selenium is free. That's why it is so popular. Selenium is open source and it is free. So anybody can customize and use for their purpose. So, and the fourth point is Selenium is collection of multiple components like IDE, WebDriver, grids. So all these components, what it is, we will definitely going to learn. So this is the simple introduction of Selenium. Now I said Selenium is testing tool. So this is going to be used for the testing purpose, right? So let's understand first of all what is testing and what types of testing we have. So here I have mentioned testing. So suppose if you are developing any software, so what is your ultimate goal? So whatever the software you are developing, that should be a quality software, right? There should be no any bug, there should be no any defect. So these types of thing, if you are if the application is containing, that will be a nightmare for the users, right? Definitely the defective software, nobody is going to be like, right? So testing is the process basically to finding the defect or a bug in any software. So in the phase of development, after development, there should a tester who are going to test some use cases or some test cases, like application is going to work properly or not. Suppose if there is a software for ATM, so how it will be going to work, that should be tested before it deploy in the market, right? So software testing is the process of finding defects or bug in any software. And so here what I mentioned, like software testing is the process of finding defects in the software, and the goal is to release quality software to the customer and the client, right? Now we are talking about how many types of testing we have in the market. So the first one is manual testing. Manual testing you can consider like perform testing without using any tool. And the second option is the automation testing. Performing testing by using tools is automation testing, right? So manual testing, where we are not going to use any automation testing tool, simply we are going to write use test cases manually. So that comes under manual testing. And suppose if we are going to use any tool like Selenium, this tool if we are going to use, that comes under automation testing. So this is the two types. Now coming to components of Selenium. So as I talked earlier, Selenium is a collection of multiple components. It contains IDs, it contains WebDriver, it contains grids. So what all these are, we are going to talk. So the first component is Selenium IDE. So it is integrated development environment. This is a Selenium IDE, which is which we can use by using extension. We have a multiple browser, right? Chrome, Firefox, Edge. So we are going to add some extension to the like Chrome and Firefox that allow us to record a playback test without writing any code. So this is something a Selenium IDE. Now coming to next point is Selenium WebDriver. So what is Selenium WebDriver? So this is a core component of Selenium that provides a programming interface for creating and executing test script. And the most important part is this supports multiple browser and the operating system. Like it can be work with Chrome, Firefox, Edge, multiple browser which we have in the market, it support mostly. And it allows us to direct interact with the browser, so which make it more efficient and flexible than Selenium IDE. Okay. Now the third point is Selenium Grid. So this tool that enables us to execute test of multiple test cases in the multiple machines simultaneously. If you want to execute multiple test cases on the multiple machines at a time, so in that case you can use Selenium Grid, and it helps like distributing the test case execution load and the concept of parallelism. So this, in this case, we are going to use a Selenium Grid. So all these three, we have very important Selenium WebDriver which we are going to learn in the coming session. We will talk about how you can use WebDriver, how you can download and install or integrate with Eclipse, how we are going to write a use cases. So all this concept we will learn in the coming session. So this is just an intro part which you can understand, like WebDriver is the programming interface. Now coming to applications of Selenium. What is the use or application of Selenium where we can use? So suppose if you want automated testing, in that case you can use Selenium. So automate the testing of web application to ensure the functional correctly and meet specified requirements. So suppose if you are developing any application for some use case, right, for some functional use, so that use cases is completely completely correcting or not, this we can use, in that case of we can use the Selenium. So now coming to web scraping. Suppose if you want to extract some data from some website, in that case we can use Selenium. So it will extract the data from by navigating multiple web pages and collect the important information which we want. And the third is browser automation. So suppose we have a automated repetitive task where we are doing same task multiple times. In that case we can use the Selenium. So these are the use cases of Selenium. Now coming to the key features of Selenium. So here we have cross browser compatibility. What I said already, like this Selenium supports multiple browser. So Selenium supports all major browser like Chrome, Firefox, Safari, Internet Explorer and Edge. Language support, if we talk about, so you can write Selenium script in multiple programming languages like Java, Python, C Sharp, Ruby, JavaScript, Kotlin. So these many language programming languages it supports. That is very good. That's why it is very popular also for the testing purpose. And the third point is test framework integration. So Selenium integrates a popular testing frame like JUnit, TestNG, and Unit. So actually, Selenium doesn't have any reporting tool, right? So if you want to create some reporting tools, in that case, we can integrate Selenium with any reporting tool. So this is having a great integration between those. So suppose if you want to take a report, you can use a TestNG. If you want a unit testing, you can integrate with the JUnit. So like that, you can. It is having a good integration tools. Now coming to WebDriver API. So the WebDriver API allow you to write a script that interact with web element and perform various actions like clicking, typing, navigating through multiple pages. Now coming to parallel test execution. So with Selenium Grid, you can run or test concurrently on multiple machines and browser, reducing the overall test execution time. So as I said, Grid we use when we want to multiple test cases run on multiple machine at a time. In that case, we can use. Now coming to the last feature is extensibility. Selenium has a vast ecosystem and tools and libraries which enhance its functionality. So such as like we have multiple browser plugins, reporting tools, cloud-based testing platforms, which I said earlier. Like if I said, like if you want a reporting, you can use TestNG. So it is having a multiple integration available that you can utilize with the Selenium. Now coming to WebDriver. So what is Selenium WebDriver? We are going to talk about. So WebDriver is one of the component in Selenium. WebDriver is a Java interface. So you know what is interface in Java, right? So it is a blueprint of multiple classes which is already implemented that we can simply use by implementing those, right? So it is basically a Java interface. And interface you can also understand communicating between the two software is basically an interface. So same WebDriver is an API. API is application programming interface, which is nothing just a piece of code that we are going to use to communicate between the two software, right? So this is API. So now coming to here, we have a WebDriver interface in Java that is going to extend the remote. WebDriver is a class, and like we have a Chrome driver, Firefox driver, and so on, multiple drivers that is going to basically extend the classes, right? So we have a already inbuilt interface for WebDriver that we are going to implement and extend the classes on the basis of like we are going to run the test cases on Chrome, Firefox, which browser you are going to work. Now coming to WebDriver environment setup. So how you can utilize WebDriver, like how you can set up your code, set up your IDs with the WebDriver. So how you are going to? So there is two way. The first way is by creating a Java project. So what you have to do, you have to install first Java JDK. You have to install Eclipse, and in that case, once you open the Eclipse, you have to create one Java project, and under that you have to download the jar file. So you have to go to Google, you have to search the Selenium WebDriver, you have to download the latest version, and then you can add the jar files of Selenium WebDriver into your project, and you can utilize. So this is totally a manual process, and which is basically not recommended. What is the problem here? Suppose current now it is 4.1.0 WebDriver is in the market, right? You have downloaded it, you have used it in your project, and suppose in future there will be a new version also, right? In that case, what you are going to do, you have to first of all remove all your jars from your project. Then you have to again go to the Selenium WebDriver page. You have to download the new one. You have to again extract all those jars into your project. So this is simply a manual task, and which we are not going to work, right? So what we have a second option, we have a Maven project. So what you are going to do, you have to open the Eclipse, you are going to create a one Maven project, and in the Maven project we are having a one file called pom.xml. So we are simply going to add the dependencies of WebDriver into our project. So what you have to go, there is a repository tool for Maven, MVN repository. You have to search simply this URL into the Google, and you can just take the whatever the version you would like. You just copy paste the code. This is around 4 to 5 lines of piece of code that simply you can take that dependency and add it in pom.xml file. Once you add, the WebDriver is online integrate, it will download and extract all those jars into the project. So this is a recommendable process. Why? Because suppose if there is a new version comes in the market, right? So what you have to do, just go to pom.xml, what is the latest version, you have to type there, or you can replace, copy paste, whatever you want. You have to just change the version and you are ready to go. You don't have to manually download something, extract something. That type of process you don't have to work. So that's why this is the suggested, like whenever you are going to work with the WebDriver, always use Maven project and add the driver dependencies in the pom.xml file. So this is all about Selenium. What is Selenium? So we learned what is Selenium, what is the testing, what types of testing we have, why we should use testing, what is the applications of Selenium. So all these things we have learned. What is WebDriver? So now in next session, what we are going to do, we are going to manually download the jar files and how you can attach in your Java project that we are going to show, and Maven project also, how you can create and how you can add the dependency in pom.xml. That all thing we will learn. So we'll learn how to download JDK, how to set up a JDK environment in our system, how to download Eclipse, how to download jar files for the Java project and integrate them, and how to create a Maven project, and how to update the pom.xml with the WebDriver dependencies. All these live steps we'll learn in the next coming session. So I hope this video you learn about what is Selenium, why we should use Selenium, and all this concept. I hope now you got it. What is Selenium, why we should use Selenium, and the testing and the types of testing. So if this video helps you, then please do like, share and subscribe to Backbencher Engineer. We'll see you in next video.